Welcome back to Dynasty Dads. The NFL draft is in the books. Colin, what was your first take?
First take is my first take. Immediate thoughts were the D line and O line went quickly. Tons of guys trying to help protect their QB and get to the QB and beef, right? My second immediate thought was, man, these guys that no one's excited about, where I started to get excited because they can go to good spots, all went to shitty spots and kind of cannibalized themselves. And that made it even worse, where I thought we could have a decent first 15 picks and then long shots. You kind of stake in long shots even at the end of the first round now. So that was
Yeah.
my immediate thought. And then on a personal side, I like the Saints draft. So
Yeah.
that came through. I was like, all right, we didn't screw it up too badly. So I felt like we made some good moves, and then we traded for, even Tyrese Wilson in the 5th round, who has done nothing for the Raiders, but at least we got a DN with athleticism, right? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Day one for me, I was like, all right, we got some players. This is gonna be all right. Yeah, Cooper and Sadiq went to the Jets. That's kind of all right. And then KC went to the Browns. It's like, okay, that's fine. And then day two hit, and I was like, you know what? This is not going well. Like day two just took a big fat fucking shit on this draft for fantasy. First round, I was okay with. I was like, yeah, okay, we got some good players to go to good spots. It's nothing terrible. And then day 2 and 3 was just absolute garbage. There was some okay spots for the wide receivers on day 2, and you could even throw in a tight end. I'd say two tight ends, but only one back going on day 2 was brutal, and it wasn't even a good back that we liked. Yes, he was one of the players that I watched, but I didn't like him that much. And the Niners, I don't know what they're doing with their boards, how they're scouting players, but every pick they made felt like a reach. So I'm not too excited for either of their two players that they took for fantasy, with Black and then dribbling. I did like him, but damn, at the 201, like, come on, like, you could have waited another round or two and probably got him. So, like, but
I keep hearing there was buzz in the pre-draft, that he was going to go late 2nd round, early 3rd. And I think the 49ers got a little scared and said, we're taking him. If you looked at this year's film, it was not good, and it looked like he was useful. And that's with, one of the best college football minds in the country at Ole Miss. That's now at LSU, right? But if you look at the year before, and I didn't even really look at it, supposedly people are saying that he looked more like a complete receiver and did better. But once he got to the SEC and started playing there, he didn't look special. So
I think the only buzz that was on him was being created by the Niners, just so they could have the what's the fucking word? The backup to fucking make that pick, to have the ground to make that pick. But I didn't hear any buzz. Like, I was seeing that he was projected like 4th, 5th round, and then I saw on NFL it was like 2nd or 3rd round. Well, yeah, okay, it's fine. It's not too far off, but to go top of the zag, it just felt weird. I was fine with day 1. And then day 2 hit out, and day 3 is like, all right, this is going to be rough. And you can see it in our drafts. Like, it is tough back into the first. Like, everyone after like pick 108, 109, you're like pulling strings even sooner. On some of those, you're like, I'm not for sure, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. I mean, you're talking right there. One of my examples, and it was the first round. The fact that the Jets went up and got Omar Cooper, it gives me at least draft capital and excitement that the team wanted him. Even when we did our reviews a couple weeks ago,
I would hope so.
I was not that excited about him. But now that he was a first-round receiver, they traded up for him, even though he went to the Jets. it gives me a chance to say, hey, this is who they wanted. And since they wanted him, here we go.
He's going to be on the field, and that's more than what we can say about a lot of players in this class. But before we get into the mock draft, we're going to do a little stat pad game. I thought the one for today was pretty spicy.
All
I'm
right.
going to share that. But this one should be fun. It pertains a lot to fantasy, so this should be a fun one. So this one right here is fantasy points, and it's PPR 2015 to 2025 for all of these, and they cannot be a first round pick. So we're starting off with the NFC North. You got the Vikings, Bears, Packers, and Lions. What season stands out to you from what player? Because if you look at QBs, Goff was a first round pick, Caleb was a first round pick, Jordan Love was a first round pick. So it's hard to go QB unless you go before they were drafted. I don't know. I don't know how far you want to go back.
The only one I could think of all those was Kirk Cousins. Is Cousins, but I'm not sure.
St.
I'm
Brown,
not sure
maybe?
if it's like 4-point passing touchdown and he doesn't get ground yardage and it's full PPR. So could be some of these receivers. Who are the star receivers back then? It's like Jordy Nelson,
Devontae Adams,
Devontae
St.
Adams,
Brown.
Amon-Ra. Yep. Jefferson, right?
He was a
JJ.
first round pick, right?
Oh, my bad. Amon-Ra was not. JJ was 100% like 20th, 21st. So that's not. They would shut us down. I think even Addison was taken there, but he doesn't have that many catches, so the PPR point
No.
wouldn't help him. What about Chicago?
No one's been good for
DJ
fantasy
Moore had
there.
that one really good season.
Oh yeah, but he was a
He
first. No,
he
I
was a
think
first rounder
he
again.
was a.
Yep.
Yeah. So Adams or St. Brown. That's kind of where
I mean,
I'm at.
Adams had years with like 15 touchdowns. I would
Do you
I would
know
go
which
Adams.
year?
Oh shit. Rodgers. What year did Rodgers win? He won like 18 and 20. So I would say maybe 2020 or 2018, one of those two, right? Weren't those the 2 years he won? Or was it 1920? What years did Rodgers win MVP?
Let's go 2020. I think that was one of the final years where Aaron Rodgers was together with Adams, and they had a great season. I think they played through 2020. Damn, it's been so long at this point. I think their final year was like 2022, and it wasn't the greatest.
No. I'm trying to think when
Let's
he
go
won
2020.
MVP. Do 2020. I think it had to be around there. Even though it was COVID year, they still played the whole season.
Oh, Devontae Adams, 2021 and 2020 were the top two
Who were the top two?
options.
So those were his two MVP. Cook. Okay, interesting. Amon-Ra, we were right in 23, and then Adams in 18. So if we did 18 to 20, we would have gotten a good bit of points. Nice.
So our target here is 790, and we're already almost there.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Off that one. All right. NFC West, Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals, and Rams. Not a first round pick. I don't think Kenneth Walker's had a huge year. Stafford was a first round pick. So like the top thing to go is the QBs. But Stafford was a first round pick. Kyler was a first round pick. Russell Wilson.
That's interesting. Like, what year for fantasy was awesome?
Yeah, that one's kind of tricky.
Well, we saw with the one above that you could go PPR. Was CMC a first round pick? I'm trying to remember if he was in the first or early second. He was first.
He was an early first.
Early first. I remember Fournette going early. That's why I was trying to, and that was the year. So I was trying to remember where he went. Let's think. So now I'm trying to think of receivers that might have just dominated.
Trey McBride this past year for the Cardinals. Yes, it's not hiding in premium, but he still caught a lot of balls.
He was awesome and he scored some touchdowns, but I'm really trying to think of a guy that scored, 15 touchdowns, 14 touchdowns, like a big ass game.
Devontae Adams this year.
Yeah, but he didn't have the catches, did he?
No. I'm leaning either Trey McBride this year to play it safe, or go Russ and try to guess the
Guess a
year.
year where he actually performed. I because McBride had like 110 catches, yards, and that. Like, he doesn't get up to the 359 though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not there. So I would, I mean, I almost say let's risk it because we already have one and see where Russell Wilson ended up. And what year? Like 18,
So
17?
what year did they win the Super Bowl?
That was like
Was it
13,
15?
right?
Was it 13? Do you want to go? We can only go from 2015 to 2025.
Right.
So maybe 2015. We'll just do it when he was still in his prime.
Sure. I'm going to try it.
Oh,
35.
he's not even okay. So that's
He was
4
2020. He was good. But
2020. Okay.
Cooper Kupp. We forgot about Kupp's year. Oh,
Oh
damn.
yeah.
That's the one.
Fuck.
I was actually
That
going to
one's
take
embarrassing.
Puka, but I didn't realize, damn, look how much Puka outscored McBride just
Everybody
this
else.
past year. That is crazy. But
Wow.
hey,
Okay.
we got some.
All right. NFC East.
We're seeing the
So
PPR receivers. I guess, how are they getting that many
go
points?
PPR. Dez was a first round pick. No one really. I mean, we can go. He was a first round pick. Neighbors. Terry McLaurin. Not this year, but the year prior. That's the first one that comes to
That's
mind.
pretty good. It's either that or Jalen Hurts with all his tush pushes.
Oh, that's right, Jalen Hurts. I think Hurts is the move.
Okay. And what year? What year was it last? It wasn't this past year, so it was 24 or 23. They won the
Which
Super Bowl
one?
at 24. You want to do that one? No, that was when Saquon had a bunch of rushing too.
Yeah. So
do
23.
23, right?
23. Man, we're fucking on fire. All right. Hurts.
Shit, look at that. 357. We were second place. That's good. Okay, nice.
Holy
Damn.
shit. So Hurts, Dak, Hurts. I didn't even think about Dak.
I thought of him, but he's so much passing that it's hard to get all the points, you know?
All right. AFC South. Texans, Jags, Titans, Colts. This one's tough. Let's go QBs. I don't think of any QBs because it's all been first round picks. Even
the one I immediately came to mind was actually Nico Collins a few years ago.
And he was a second round pick.
Right, he was in the first. Or we could try and take a shot at like Allen Robinson, but that's going way back.
I don't want to fucking chance that
Yeah.
one
year was Collins? 23 or 22?
24. I want to.
Or was it
So
24?
he wasn't good.
Well, I'm trying to remember what his past year was. No, it was the year Stroud came out, right? Because that's when he dominated. It had to be 23 because 24 wasn't good and last year wasn't good. Wasn't that bad, but you know what I'm saying?
All right, fuck it. 2023. Man, we are on fucking fire. Even though he wasn't in the top 5, but that's still a damn good pick.
Oh, we've got JT because he was a second rounder.
Oh my
But
goodness,
we might have guessed the wrong year with JT. I was thinking Henry, but I couldn't think of the year. And then look at Allen Robinson. Look at 4. I knew it.
It was a fucking dart throw.
Oh, it would have been. I love it. That's so fun.
All right. AFC West, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos. All the way back to 2015.
Tyreek Hill.
I can't think of. Oh, great fucking pull.
Tyreek Hill. What year? That's the question.
With the Chiefs. 2020?
There was either 19 or 20. I mean, to 21.
He was the wide receiver one. That was with
years.
The Dolphins. He was
with and the year before, he was like wide receiver 1 or 2. So what year did he join the Dolphins? 21 or 22?
We can kind of rig this because if we pick a year that he wasn't on the Chiefs, and we just keep going back. So 2021.
Okay. 296 isn't bad. Eckler.
and that would have been way down the list, but that's still a damn good pick.
Oh yeah,
Austin Eckler, Adams, Tyreek. So it was 2018 and 2020.
2020. Got
Okay.
it. Yeah, Devontae Adams too with the Raiders. Jeez, what a stud he
We
was.
fucking smashed that one.
Yeah, we did.
790, and we doubled it almost.
Wow.
Well, we did double it.
Yep,
That's a damn good board right there. Holy shit. Okay. All right. All right. All
that was
right.
fun.
That one was good. All right. Let's get into a little bit of news, and then we'll get into
Sounds
the
good.
mock draft. Did you pick the 105 by by accident? Because it's just me and you.
What happened?
You picked the 105, but it's just me and you, so it's going to be the same thing that we did this
Yeah,
past time.
if I didn't select it, it wouldn't pop up with all the players in their
So
order.
just pick one or two.
Oh, you want me to switch?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I guess I'll take love this time. It's cool.
There we go. We'll switch it up. Because are you going to do
All
it when you
right.
send them all in?
Yeah, I'm gonna fill them all in, and we'll talk about each player.
Right.
So first bit of news: Jaden Reed, 3-year, $50 million deal, which is honestly, I thought, a very small deal for a wide receiver. You just saw Dobbs get what, 80 mil for
Something like that.
3 years. So
Yeah.
that was a very team friendly deal. So that means he's there for at least the next 3 years. More like I think it was more of like a 2-year deal.
I think it's more like a 2-year extension. Right.
Yeah. Yes. So he's there to stay. I'm hoping that they get a deal done with Watson. His will probably be twice the size of this contract, which they probably offered them both the same contract, and Watson said, "Go fuck yourself."
So, yeah, get out of here. Which which he should have based on last year. But
Yeah, but he's their slot guy. It's more of a gadgety type, role that he's in. He can work the slot, but you also have, I mean, I don't think I've seen him much go outside, so I think it's really going to be Golden and Watson on the outside. So you're hoping that Jaden Reed, if you have him, can still get in on 2 wide receiver sets and play on the outside some, but he's probably going to be mainly a slot guy for them. Is that how you feel about it?
for Reed?
Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reed's a slot guy. He's not a real big run blocker, so he's going to be a rotational position guy. And so, yeah, definitely.
Right.
I think he's the slot. Who is it? Watson's the X, and then they're trying to get Golden as be the Z, and then Kraft is going to lead all targets, in my opinion.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine
Yeah.
with that. Moving on, Gibbs, they picked up his 5th-year option. We figured that was going to happen. And then QJ had his 5th-year option picked
That
up
one's
as well.
a little surprising, but I also get it, as in, like, he's a guy, we drafted him. He had some good games. It's a cheaper way than trying to extend him or give him a transition tag or something like that. It's a way to keep him an extra year and keep the continuity until they see if Ladd can bump back up and if they can find a outside receiver.
Yeah, it's really going to be him on the outside, and you just go deep, bud. And then Trey Harris will probably be on the outside, and then Ladd will work in the slot. But they needed that deep threat on their offense. I know that they tried to use Trey Harris a bunch in that role this past year, and it didn't work out too much. He didn't get that much work, but he also worked more of in the slot and short routes as well. So I think QJ is just their guy that they're going to send deep on every play and kind of open up the field for Ladd and Harris, and then a guy that we probably won't talk about today because I don't think me or you are gonna draft him in Thompson, weighing in at a $160. I don't care.
I think they were very excited to get him as a 3rd or 4th receiver that literally just goes deep. That just descends deep, takes a safety with him, and then opens up the underneath. I literally think he'll be doing wind sprints up and down, and then twice a game he'll get a target. And if he catches one of them, it's actually might be useful, but chances of him catching them, he might catch one every other game, so it's kind of useless.
Yeah, he's more of a best ball player. You have him just in case he catches that bomb touchdown.
You never know and get
But
lucky.
and then this last bit right here, this was kind of confusing because we all got the news before the draft that George Pickens had signed his tag, and then it come out that he didn't actually sign his tag. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I thought that was very strange. I don't know who put that out there. Maybe if it was just trade bait to try and get someone to trade for him. But George has still not signed his tag yet, so he is still not on the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think it makes it a little worrisome because we're getting closer and closer to spring and all this stuff and not reporting, etc. And then, yeah, for a guy that has off the field issues and some mental issues, it's not what I'd like in one of my top receivers.
How
That's the
mad
nicest way to put it.
would you be if you traded for George right after that news and then you saw this?
I would be a little aggravated. I just traded him away in a league
Well, so you were on the right side of that so far.
so far.
But
We'll see. Yeah,
any
you'd be impressed. I
any
even got
uh
the main deal was sending him away for K9.
okay. Uh, did you get more back or was it
I got a
more
little
of a
more
split?
back just because of age and running back.
Okay.
Yeah, I got like Terry McLaurin and
Okay.
something else. But I know it's a usable old receiver for that was the main gist of it. I forget who I gave it like Bren Strange and my boy RJ Harvey, and I got back those two and Tony Pollard, a usable running back, and a third next year.
Okay.
Something like that.
Oh, another bit of news that's not really news just yet, but I've been seeing a lot of Brandon Ayuk to the Commanders, whether they trade him, whether they cut him, and then he signs with the Commanders. So that'll be interesting for that offense because they desperately need someone else to catch the ball there. Um, but is he even going to be good when he gets there? It's just like the fun fact is that he played with Daniels in fucking college, and Daniels came out what 4 years after, but
4 years
whatever.
later, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, he
yep,
signed
yep.
this big deal before I think Daniels got like drafted.
That's
So funny.
yep, that's
Um,
insane. All right,
it's interesting, and we'll get to it because if that actually happens, how much does that affect Antonio Williams?
I think Antonio Williams is going to be more of a slot guy anyway. So uh, IU can play inside outside if he still can play. I'm
Yeah,
sure he can, but he's kind of turned into like a George Pickens as far as a head case, doing a lot of crazy shit off the field. So
right.
if they sign him and you have Ayuk and you've been trying to hold on to to trade him, that would be your window before it comes out that he's not going to make the team.
Yeah. No, for me, it's definitely interesting like that. But I agree with you. I think it's uh, if Ayuk shows up, Williams takes a hit because Ayuk,
Oh yeah,
knowing Daniels, they know they went and got him. I mean, no one's really talking about it, but the one guy that definitely takes a jump to me because they didn't go get an early receiver is Chigakonkwo. He got signed, decent deal for a tight end, and clearly is probably the number two option right away.
yeah.
And we know that offense when it's going well can have some can move the ball and score some points.
Yeah, not like this past year.
Right.
All right. How about we draft?
Let's do it.
All right. So with the first pick, I will take Jeremiah Love. Him going to the Cardinals. What was funny is when we had our draft contest after the pick at 3, there was only like 5 people left because not that many people took Love to the Cardinals. And then the very next pick, who we'll get to, uh,
Yeah.
Tate went to the Titans, who no one had. So after 4 total picks, everyone was wiped out. That's the quickest that it has ever been. There's usually a guy or two that's like maybe 1 or 2 off, but this year everyone was dead after the second
True.
player taken for fantasy. It was absolutely wild. Like, all right, well, thanks guys for playing, but no
Yeah.
one's gonna be close this year. But
No one's there. No one's happening.
Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals. They've got some backs now. I think they saw what happened this past year when they didn't have anybody to run the ball. And, I get it. He was a lot of people's top player in the class. So if you're just drafting best player available, he fits that role. But also at the same time, his contract is 50 million guaranteed, and that's the most by any back right now. Saquon's, I think, in the 30s. So to invest that much money for a back is kind of crazy. But it's
Yeah.
probably going to be just fine for fantasy. He's still going to be a great player. The only question is he the starter from day one? Yes, you draft him at the third overall pick, but do you have any concern that he's not going to be the guy from day one? Because you still have Connor, and then you just gave some money to Tyler Algier, who has been cucked again after he's went to a team and then they draft him back in the top 5. So
I mean, I think he starts right away. They have to. You can't take him third and not use him. The real question is does he kind of get the Bijan treatment where it's, he's only used at like 60% instead of what Bijan has turned into of an 80% guy usage. Remember his rookie year that everyone was disappointed in? The real question is that will we get out of Jeremiah Love, especially if they start losing a lot of games and they're like, we want to use him, but we're not going to use him to his maximum, right? So I mean, he should be the 101 in Dynasty in any formats. I don't even think it's that close. But I am excited long term, especially everyone talking about the guarantee. It's just the slot. They drafted him there. They love him. They talk about how good of a prospect he is. Good for them. But to me, I mean, he goes 101 in Dynasty. He'll be fine for you. Hopefully, he gets close to 300 touches his rookie year. And hopefully, he puts on some points and scores. And at least he has talent on the outside, so they can't stack the box against him, unlike Genty. And he has a little bit better of an offensive line. So, hey, I'm rearing ready to go. Excited to have him. If you dynasty wise, I still have him as running back 3,
oh, come
and
on.
I do. I'm above Genty
All
and I'm
right.
above Achan. I like this slot better than if he went to the Titans. I mean, some
Okay.
people may say that's dumb. That's where I'm at. Um, I just feel the situation's better than the Raiders.
I do think that there's a real chance that he's like a 40% snap guy because they still have Connor and they still have Algier. I don't think he's going to get above 60. I think it's going to be somewhere between 40 and 60%, which may upset some people, this year for year one. But next year, maybe Connor's gone after next year, unless they decide to bring him back again. But then it's going to be him and Algier, which is then I think where he would start to take that 60 to 80% bump. But
There you go. That's why we play.
we'll see. All right, you're up.
So to me, there's a 3-person tier here. I don't know how you have it, but three team tier. If you need a quarterback, and even though I think Mendoza is probably going to cap out as like at some point in the first 3 years, he might be QB 10, QB 9. I don't think, he doesn't have much rushing. He doesn't have the weapons. The O line still needs work. But year 2, it can get better, right? There's always that chance. But to me, if you need a QB, it's Mendoza. And if not, then you could take your choice of which wide receiver you want. Part of that, I guess, is maybe Saints homerism. So if you want Jordan Tyson, take him. If you like Cornell Tate better, take him. Um, Tennessee doesn't have another one option on the roster, but it does have, some other pretty good options where the Saints need a number 2 and Tyson walks into that, even with Juwan Johnson getting some work. So for me, let's say if I already have 3 quarterbacks, then Mendoza is not even included. If that I like and know are startable. If it's I have one and then a really shaky one, like a Malik Willis is my wide or Jacoby Brissett is my QB 2, you know, then I'm taking Mendoza. So I'm gonna assume this team is bad, and maybe because they don't have QB depth or QB any QBs that are good or even starting anymore. Maybe they're the Tua team that doesn't really have it or something like that. So let me get Mendoza because I think he probably should go number 2 in most instances.
Yeah, I've been seeing him pretty much go anywhere from like 2 to 5, which I think is where his range should be. Like this tier 2 is Mendoza, and then the top 3 wide receivers. I haven't seen anything stray outside of that too much. I've seen Price go in this top 5, and
Yeah.
some just because out of need, which I totally get. But if that's the case, then just trade back or just trade the pick away for a back. You don't need to ta take Price aside. But if you believe in Price, then by all means do what you want with your own picks. Uh, Mendoza, I've been seeing a lot go at 2. It's been Tate at 2 as well, and then it's been the other 2 wide receivers after that. Um, I like all of these players, but I do think Carnell Tate is going to be the bona fide one for his team. And so that's why I'm going to take him at 3, just because I think he's going to see the most volume to start his career. There's a lot of question marks with the other 2 guys, whether they aren't the one on their team. And then if you look at Tyson, his injury history, and then you have Lemon. Say AJ Brown doesn't get traded. Now you're sitting at wide receiver 3 on a team, which he's a very, very good player. But if something happens where AJ Brown does not get traded, then you're sitting with your dick in your hand for the first year, which is plausible. I don't think it's going to be what happens. I think AJ Brown is gone, but Tate, I think, is going to see the most volume in year 1 and probably year 2 and 3, just because you still have Olave and you have Smith on the other team. So they're being drafted to be their wide receiver 2 and maybe have a shot to be 1, but there's still very good competition in their room. So I think Tate is the first wide receiver to me.
That's that's how I have it. And I'll be honest, in a lot of these drafts, sometimes Tate goes and falls. I have almost I think I have 1 share of Tate just because he hasn't fallen. I also haven't had many of the 102 or 103 picks where I've had the opportunity. There was one I needed a QB, so I got Mendoza, and then the other one I had the 3, and Tate went 2, so I had to make a choice. But for me, it's Tyson. So you can put Tyson in there. I love the
Shocker.
opportunity. I know I'm a Saints fan, but I just feel like they're, I think it could easily turn into a 1A, 1B. A lot of
Yep.
it has to do with health. I really like the way the Saints offense is coming together. And so
Hmm.
to me, he's a vital piece of it. He alleviates a little bit of, I guess, the cornerback or safety help over to Olave. It'll help, give him a little break, even if he is a rookie coming in. I think it'll be an interesting team. It's gonna be fun to watch with they have a lot more talent. They help shore up the O line. They have some now second and third year tackles that should play well. The center should be healthy. And we just signed the guard from Buffalo that was, PFF, if you like him or not, was ranked 19th as a guard. So the offense could be exciting. The defense is going to be a little worse. But if the offense is exciting, you could see some highlight reel plays early on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a big flip from how we were feeling about the Saints offense for fantasy going into last year versus going into this year. They took a tight end, they took 2 wide receivers, they signed Achan. It's coming together for the Saints. I think it's gonna be fun this year. I think we have a bet where I took the Saints to make the playoffs and you didn't. And how do you feel about that?
I feel great because I have over 6.5 wins for a couple units, and over 7.5 for a couple units. So I feel good about it. I'm excited. If it happens, I have no issues paying you, bud.
you
So
you have that bet hedged pretty
hedged
well.
and
So
excited for it. Yeah, no, I'm
all right,
I'm I'm excited about the offense. I think the team will be fun to watch, and I like the way Kellen Moore coaches.
all right. Well, I'll take my wide receiver 1 pre-draft. Mekhi Lemon fell to the Eagles. My hope, and I've been taking him anywhere from 104, 105, 106 sometimes, and that's pretty much been the range. I saw him go 102. I think it was yesterday, which I thought was pretty wild. It was fun to see, but
Yeah.
I like the player a lot. And my hope is that AJ Brown is traded and Lemon can maybe overtake Smith to be the one, but you're still going to be sharing between Smith and Lemon in a passing offense that's not always had the highest volume. But it can be efficient when you have two really good players on the outside. We've seen that before with Smith and Brown. So Makai Lemon, love the player a lot. He did fall in the draft, and I don't know if you saw where the Steelers were on the phone with Lemon, and he's like, "Hey, why is Philly
Really,
calling me?" And his because they fucking jumped him and traded with the Cowboys. That's a classic case of counting your chickens before they hatch, and
yeah,
that was funny shit to watch. And I'm glad that he went to Philly and not to the Steelers because
yeah. The Steelers would have been an
I
awful spot in my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, because they just traded for Pittman. They have DK, and he would have been, at least to start the year, the wide receiver 3 and a team that doesn't currently have their starting QB named. So it's a bit rough. So I'm glad that they made that trade.
Yeah, I agree. I guess on that note, can you do something quickly? Can you mute your uh the draft board so it doesn't make the ping sound all the time at the top?
Does it?
Right,
Huh.
one over. There you go.
No,
No,
that was it.
yeah, the left one, I don't know what that does. It's some bell, but the other one should mute it. You should be good.
Okay, I
Anyway,
didn't hear it. So
yeah, gotcha. I've been hearing it, and I was like, oh, might be something that's annoying for other people. But so it's on me now. Um, this is where it comes to part of it is if it's a 0.75 or full point tight end premium, I'm leading Sadiq. If it's half a point or less or just or none, I'm probably leading Price. And pre-draft, I wasn't the biggest Price fan. So if it's half, I'm going Price, first round running back on the team that won the Super Bowl, just lost a player. But I'm definitely worried and scared about when his knee's better. When Charbonnet's knee is better, are they splitting time? And then if that's the case, you took a 106 with a back that's splitting time that may or may not take over. We're not really sure.
yeah,
So
but Charbs is on the last year of his deal.
right.
So do they bring him back?
Well, and that's the thing. Do they bring him back? And if he's not great, does he take a hometown discount? Because if he's still hurt and doesn't have a great year, a team's really going to sign him, or should he stay in the system and get a better deal? You know what I'm saying? Like
That's true. That's
part,
true.
part of my thinking is do you stay because you're not going to get that big a deal? We've seen in free agency running backs don't get awesome deals. We
Yeah.
saw a couple
Let's
do, but
go.
yeah,
Let's go with 1 point tight end premium, just to
full
make
1 point.
full 1 point,
Oh, then give me Sadiq. We'll make it easy then.
just to make some players better in this draft.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. The 1 point means Sadiq just athleticism could be the number 2 target in the Jets. This year could be rough, even though I like Geno. We've talked about that before. I like Geno. Now he has some more weapons, and so we'll see what he does, but especially in the future when he gets a rookie QB next year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a swing for the fences type of player, and especially at the back end of this tier. Um, you know, he's someone that could be great fantasy with his skill set that he has, but he could also be one of the athletic guys that flames out like an OJ Howard or a Fant. Those guys that were highly sought after because they were great athletes, but it never really turned into much for fantasy. But
Yeah.
all right. Well, this makes it easy for me. I'm gonna go Tyson. I'm kidding. I'm not going Ty Simpson. Jadarian Price.
There you go.
I think this is the end of the picks that I really want for this year. This top 7 is where I want to be after this. It's kind of starting to shoot your shot. Yes, there are some players that do have some good spots. I don't want to call them good spots, but they have a good opportunity in front of them, and that's sometimes all you can ask for with someone that's drafted highly. KC and Cooper, They're both first round guys. You're just hoping that the team doesn't suck. But for
Yeah.
Price, he's a first round pick, and a back that's now on the Seahawks. They just won the Super Bowl. They lost K9. They're not going to have Charbs. So if you're a contending team where you were in the playoffs last year and you got bounced, round one, and you fell into the spot and you need backs, I feel like this is a great spot to take him, just because he's going to help you out now. And there's so many ifs, but you can see the path to where he becomes a more valuable player for Dynasty, whether they don't bring back Sharps and he's just a guy. And also, hey, he's a first round back, and those typically don't miss. There's maybe a few that you can throw their names out there, but for the most part, they've all hit. And I like him a lot. Obviously, not as much as Love, but I think he fits their scheme well. They want someone with good vision, which he has. K9, for all his talent, would bounce plays he probably should had no business bouncing, and I think Price fits their scheme well. So for a win now team, and with the upside of having a top 10 back for maybe 2 or 3 years to come after that, as far as value, I don't know if he's going to be a top 10 back in fantasy, but he'll probably border on the edge there, 12 to 15 at his peak. But for this draft class, I think this is a great player to add,
Where would
because
you
there's
have him in
not a
running
whole lot.
back? Where would you have him in running back ranks, like right now?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I don't know if he would be in my top 12.
Oh, no
I
way.
mean, no,
I
he
mean,
would
no
probably be
way.
12 to 15-ish
Really that
range.
high? So you'd have him above Scatterboot.
No.
Well,
Well,
then you're getting further
no,
down.
no,
You have him
no.
above Jacobs?
That's where it starts getting interesting, because Jacobs, how many more years does he have left? Does he stay with the Packers? And I believe he's 28 now. So he's getting up there in age. That's
Right.
probably right where he should be, whether right in front of Jacobs or right behind Jacobs. For this upcoming year, I would rather have Jacobs. But if I'm not a top team, then I could see going Price, just to have the runway for value.
Gotcha. Which is fair. Yeah. Moving on to pick 1.8, with you saying it's a full point tight end premium, this is Eli Stowers.
Okay, I was
It
hoping to get him with my next pick, but fuck
No.
me, it's
When
cool.
you jump it up that high, you gotta take the tight ends that could catch balls, that could be athletes in systems that at least somewhat seem established. And next year, let's assume Goddard isn't on the team. So if he's not on the team, we got Stowers and then Lemon and then Devontae Smith. And let's be honest, Smith doesn't really garner, he's not the guy that's really getting 10 targets a game. So there will definitely be plenty to go around. And so Stowers could be a great, useful piece, especially in a full point tight end premium.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording, but this slot, this player kind of reminds me of like the Trey McBride year, when you took him at the back end of the first, and you weren't expecting anything at the start of his first year because of Ertz, and then once Ertz left, then it became the Trey McBride show. I don't think that Stowers is the same player that McBride is. I don't think he has the same, tight end one overall type of ceiling for himself. But I think he's someone that could be a year in and year out top 10 fantasy tight end, which isn't saying much, but if you can get close to that top 5, then you're going to be someone that's great for fantasy. And that offense loves to use the tight end. You just saw Goddard have the best year of his whole career. So,
Yeah.
well, fuck. I guess I will go with my next wide receiver, KC Concepcion. Yes, he went to the Browns. Yes, the Browns did take another wide receiver, and yes, they don't really have a QB that they've named yet. Could be Sanders, could be Watson. So it's a lot of question marks, but they did a lot to upgrade that offense. They took some linemen, they drafted two wide receivers, and they also did take another QB, just as they do every year now. And Taylor Green, which I'm sure we will get to a little later on. If you don't take him, I for sure will, because I've been taking him in the fourth and pretty much every draft I'm in. But KC, he was to me one of the top four guys. I kind of had them all in the same tier. He was fourth in that tier, but going where he went, not having a QB and not going as highly as the top three guys. It's uh, I like the player, and I'm crossing my fingers that he could be the wide receiver one for his team, and there is a path for that to happen.
Yeah. No, I mean, we talked about it pre-draft. I really love Concepcion. I'm okay with him going to Cleveland, knowing that this year is kind of a down year. It's really part of my issue is how can he playing out of the slot, playing out wide, but how can he mesh with Fannin taking kind of the over the middle and underneath routes? I guess Boston could technically go deep, but to me, it's how do they mesh, even with maybe bad quarterback play this year, while we know they're going to get a rookie next year. So I'm excited about him. I love the way he just looked the fastest off the film, off the line, and if he keeps doing that, he'll be on the field a lot and be getting looks. So Concepcion would have been my next guy at the 110 here. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to take my second quarterback, which is Ty Simpson, purely
Okay.
as a if I already have three usable QBs, he's not on the list, but I think a lot of these teams might only have two and then a dart flyer. And so Ty Simpson, I think, is the pick. And it really comes down to you can't take someone at 13 overall in a draft and not use them at least by year two. Otherwise, you just wasted it all. So they know something that they're admitting to us now that this is Stafford's last season. Or if they're not, they really just wasted a pick. And I mean, we say all the time. I say it on this podcast all the time. As much as I think these $1 billion franchises are smart, they make really stupid decisions. So maybe we get bit by this, But to me, taking a 13th overall, this is not a fourth round pick. This is 13th overall.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm taking him here.
Yeah, and the pick itself was kind of crazy because he had 15 career starts, and you're taking him in at the 13th pick overall, and to sit now. I'm guessing Stafford at least plays this year and maybe one more season, which I think would probably be the likely outcome. Maybe two more years. Um, and then once Simpson has had time to learn under Stafford, learn from the staff there, he could really take the Jordan Love route of being eased into the position when he shouldn't be starting year one to begin with, which was the same for Love. Taking a QB in the first round and then not playing him is quite rare, at least at some point in their first year or two. So this is really a play for maybe next year or the year after that. And if you are making this pick, you stick them on your taxi squad and you don't take a look at them. You don't even know that he's there until Stafford's gone, and then you start talking to people about maybe trade him away or seeing how he plays. But if you if you trade him at any point before he is going to be the starter, you are lighting this pick on fire because you are not going to get the same value that you took this pick at. So,
Nope. And that's the biggest thing. You got to hold unless someone gives you that first value or a staffer manager comes to you and says, I want the pick and want the player
yeah,
and you work something out. But I think that's probably part of the reason I took them here is there's a chance there's 10, 11, 12, somewhere 9, somewhere in this range. They might have Stafford and say, okay, now I have the starter with
right.
Puka and maybe a good offense and situation moving forward, right? And let's
Yeah.
be realistic. We hope, McVay has said he might leave early. I hope that's not the case because he might get a talking head role with one of these large TV deals. But if he stays around and sticks around and wants to kind of rebuild, it at least starts that. But I still think the Rams were in a title chance recently, as in last year. So why are you doing this? And then you traded other picks for the star cornerback. Like, uh, the Rams and the 49ers, as we get through it, just some of their picks don't make sense to me. I think they're smarter than everyone. And it, as much as when you have great coaching, you can get away with it, but it's going to start bite him in the ass soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will go with the last first round wide receiver. Went to the Jets at pick 30. They traded up to get him. Omar Cooper Jr. with the Jets. Um, I didn't really have him this high in my rankings, but when you spend a first round pick on a wide receiver, you have to at least give him some sort of bump with that draft capital, knowing that he's probably going to be the second or third option on that offense. That's going to be down a lot, more likely, and they're going to be passing. So he's going to get some sort of volume to where maybe he's a flex play this year. You are hoping. I don't think he's going to be more than that this year. I don't think you're going to have confidence in him being your, 2 or 3. But if you can throw him in your flex, and he gets you, 10 to 15 points, you'll be happy. With that offense, it's Gino, Garrett Wilson is the one, and then you're looking at Cooper or the tight end as your 2 option, and that's not including Brees. So that offense has some weapons for a QB to step in next year and have a nice cast to throw the ball to. So that's more of the hope is they get a QB next year, but he can also be someone that you can use for this season.
Yeah. And so as we get to the 112, I have thought ever since I've been doing these drafts, since we started some of the Dynasty Dads rookie drafts, that there's a clear tier break after 112. Um, and so I'm going to take the last guy based on talent, draft capital, all of it that I felt should be there, and that's Denzel Boston. Um, I
From
think
Boston.
I think it is a sign to Jerry Jeudy that thank you, your career here is over.
Yeah.
He had such a poor year last year. He is getting a little older. I wouldn't put him at old, but he is getting older. And it shows that they're putting a team together, trying to build some O line, put a team together. And I was actually quite happy with how Cleveland drafted. They're putting a team together to have an offense set up for a rookie quarterback next year. And with that, Judy will probably be gone. And they're going to have Concepcion, Boston, and Fannin as, second year guys and a third year tight end that are all really young to build around this rookie and continue to build the O line around them while the defense ages. And as that happens, Myles Garrett will still hopefully be studly enough to carry the defense with some other good players and then have a young offense to build off of it. I was quite impressed that they didn't fuck it up like the Browns always do. So I'm going with Boston because I think he could turn into something this year, even less so, but next year could be the probably number 2 option on the team, but at least one of the top 3. And with a good system, if they can make that happen and better O line and a rookie QB that steps in and looks competent, he'll be the another somewhere between 1, 2, and 3 option. I'm not going to say this because that's how hype we are about him, but could that team turn into what we think of Chicago with a very good tight end and
Ooh.
2 receiving options that are young and good?
Yeah, that's a big jump, but it's not impossible.
Right.
Uh, so I will go next, and I will let you get to the guy that you want next. I'm gonna go with Chris Bell at the 201. I know who you want. Um, the presumed wide receiver 1 for the Dolphins. Um, you know, it they don't have much there on that offense, and I liked Chris Bell enough to where if he got to a good spot, I thought that he could do well, and this is where he's going to have his shot. Um, they don't really have any other pass catching options there outside of HN, and you're just hoping that he can volume his way and really establish himself into being someone that you feel good about when you made this pick.
Yeah. Of all the receivers they took, Bell to me has the highest upside.
Yep.
Before he tore his ACL midseason over in Louisville, Chris Bell was supposed to be fighting with, let's say, even Lemon in this spot and Concepcion and definitely well before Cooper and Boston. So he was going to be, third, fourth receiver in this class before the injury. And so Miami took him in the third or giving him a shot. And because the opportunity is wide open, I feel all fantasy managers should be taking him early in the second. And switching on that note, I'm going to take my shot at a running back. I'm taking Jonah Coleman. And it comes down to I love RJ Harvey. I have a lot of shares. I still think he's not a failed prospect. He did pretty well. He scored a lot of touchdowns. But maybe he had a little too much workload for a rookie. I know they have J.K. Dobbins, but it's a 1-year deal. So, if and when Dobbins gets hurt, I think Coleman and RJ Harvey could be a nice 1-2 punch behind a pretty good O line with a pretty good offense now with two receivers that seem competent, hopefully a healthy Bo Nix, and we can make this happen. So I'm excited to see how that offense plays, but I think Coleman is a guy that on most years is probably the 208 pick, 209 pick kind of style. But in this draft, with how so many people went to bad situations or got drafted later, I think he's the pick here.
Yeah, and I really think that backfield is going to be messy all year. If everyone's healthy, it's going to be like a 30-40-30, or 30-30-30, somewhere in that range where they're all involved. And I think if J.K. Dobbins goes down, then it would be Coleman that steps up as that first and second down back, just because of his size and how inefficient RJ Harvey was on the ground this past year. And he's a bigger body back. I think he would be someone that they would see more of that JK role. I think Harvey is still going to be involved in the passing game quite a bit, but it's going to be hit and miss for fantasy for all these guys, especially when all three of them are playing. It's basically who gets the passing volume and who scores the touchdown. So don't
Yeah.
hate the pick. This is where I think it starts to get pretty interesting. After this, I've been going pretty heavy at wide receiver with a few guys just because of their draft capital and the teams that they went to. Someone that we talked about a lot pre-draft that we thought that could be a good player, and I think now he's got a chance to be the wide receiver 2 for his team. I'm going Chris Brazzell.
You're going this early with Chris Brazzell. Wow. Okay.
I am a believer. I think he's going to immediately be that wide receiver 2 for them. I know they still have Xavier, but he's not worked out, and I don't think he should be on the field as much as he is. So drafting a talent like Chris Brazzell, this is where I want to go. I want to shoot for upside, someone that has his skill set and has his opportunity. I'm going to go this route.
Gotcha. I like it. I like Brazzell. I've been actually realizing I didn't take him as much as I would like because I think he has a good chance to be the number 2 option on that team. And whether we
I
like
have
Bryce Young
him
or not,
everywhere. I have
you
him everywhere right
yeah,
now.
as much as we might not like Bryce Young as a quarterback, the number 2 option on any offense is going to see targets and going to have a chance. Um,
Mhm.
and so I like that. It's a little earlier maybe for me, but I like the aggressiveness going to get your guy because we're truly even now at 203.
Yep.
This is get your guy season. And so my
Yep.
next one
Already.
is Nick Singleton because
Okay.
next year he could be the starter. 2026, probably not, but he could be rotational. The following year, he could be a starter. And if you are even a rotational this year or injuries, etc., he could be usable. And everyone's always striving for running backs. So to me, it's Singleton.
Yeah, and I I'm going to be pretty confident in saying that I think he's going to have his games where he gets 15, 20 carries, whether it's Pollard's out or something like that, where I could easily see him being the dude, not for the full season, but for a game here and there. And I don't think Pollard and Spears are long for this team, and there's no one else. And, at one point, this player was thought of as being one of the top guys in this class. So I think he's got the skill set, and if he gets the opportunity to get on the field and show what he can do, I think he's someone that could easily find himself into a starting role. Even though where was he drafted? He was drafted in the 5th round. So, I mean, we are already taking a 5th round back in the start of the second. So that just
Was he
goes to
fifth
show
or
you.
fourth? I mean, we can look it up
He
right
was
now. For some reason, I thought it was fourth.
he he was fifth round, pick
Oh my
25 to
god.
the Titans.
Yeah, and we're taking
Yeah.
him this early. That's just the saddest thing, you know? It's like,
Yep.
what are we doing here?
Yeah, I made a spreadsheet of draft capital, for everyone that was drafted, all QBs, RBs, wide receivers, and tight ends, because a lot about this class was gonna be draft draft capital, and I think
Yeah.
that's gonna be very important. Alright, I'm up next. I'm still gonna be going pretty heavy at wide receiver. Um, I'm gonna take Jerry Rice. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go Antonio Williams. We talked about it at the start that um fuck, what's his name, Brandon Ayuk maybe goes to the Commanders, but if he doesn't, or if he doesn't work out there, then Antonio Williams is going to be the wide receiver two for that team. He's going to be on the field pretty much from day one, and at this point, we're already trying to just find guys that are going to be on the field.
Yeah. No, that if you let him slide, that's what I was taking next. I just think the opportunity's there. We talked about
Yep.
a wide receiver thing. I wasn't the biggest fan, but to me, that was gonna be my guy. Man, this makes it a little rougher on me now of who I want, who I like. Um, Now I'm even scrolling past where we are to kind of see other names. It's get your guy season, and so hmm, the get my
Please
guy
take
season.
a please take another fifth round back, please.
That's what year? What round was he drafted? I think I'm about to take a fifth round back. I know it's
Who?
is it fourth? I'm gonna take
Who?
Tron Allen.
He was sixth
Sixth,
round,
even
sixth
better.
pick.
Jeez, yeah, I don't remember that. So Tron Allen
Uh,
too. I'm gonna take just because opportunity. Like I'm looking at these guys. I'm taking opportunity early on in drafts. I was taking more Malachi Fields, and the more I think about it, the more I'm gonna let it fall a little bit. And you might even be taking him next. But to me,
I am.
Kaytron Allen is just the opportunity, and like I said, everyone's striving for running backs. I know he should have a role because he got drafted, and they don't have much else. So I'm taking Kaytron.
All right, you called it. I'm going Malachi Fields. We're already saying it. It's just someone that is going to be on the field day one. I think he's the wide receiver two for that team. They didn't go wide receiver up high like everyone thought they would with one of the top three guys. So pretty much anyone else that they were going to take on day two was probably going to be their number two wide receiver. So I'm going to take Fields. I liked Fields, and we're already saying it. Someone that's going to be on the field, that has talent, that has at least somewhat draft capital in this draft class, and I can only imagine what we're going to be doing in the third, fourth round.
Right? Yeah, it's not pretty. So you took Fields. I'm gonna jump in, and it's not a guy I have much, but I feel at this range you got to take him. I'm taking Jeremy Bernard.
Okay.
Due to draft capital and opportunity. Uh, Here's the thing: if Rodgers comes in, he's the wide receiver three as soon as he steps on the field. Do we know a year from now who the QB is? No. Do we also know that both wide receivers are there? The answer is no. So if you're taking this pick, you're hoping that one of the other two receivers gets moved. It'll probably be DK just because they just signed Pittman, right? So with that, it at least he's a third wide receiver. He's probably more of a slot, but Pittman might move slot, etc. But he's a third option on the team. Um, I don't really include Firemouth as much anymore. So he's their third option, and maybe DK gets moved and he turns into a more usable role. I've also, in a lot of these drafts, part of the reason I'm taking him here is I keep seeing him go earlier than this. I think people are
Yeah.
excited about him, the Alabama style, the way he showed up as the best receiver. Um, and so that's who I'm taking now.
All right. Oh, do I want to draft with my heart? I'm gonna do it just so I can get a tight end. I understand this is very early, and part of it has been he was way down on ADP to start these drafts. I know you're probably upset that you're not going to get the Saints tight end, but I'm going to Oscar Delp. Um, to start these drafts, he was way down. Like nobody was drafting him. I was getting him in the third round pretty much every draft because everyone was forgetting about him. But I loved his profile. He didn't have, the exact production that everyone wanted or hoped, but he is someone that is a freak athlete, and he's going to the Saints. And I don't think Johnson is gonna be there much longer, and they're putting together a young core. So I think year 2, year 3, this is gonna be a great pick.
So, I mean, I love him. This is a full 1 point tight end premium. I'm excited about it. You clearly jumped up because you're worried about me. I still think in
I
most
was.
drafts he goes a little later than this, and
Oh yes,
especially if it's
for
only
sure.
half a point tight end premium. But I love that you went up and got a guy that I enjoy and I like as well. But based on where we are, I'm at this point at the 210, I'm taking Mike Washington. I liked him as a prospect, and
He was my other pick.
I think he steps in at the number 2 role. And at 210, if I can get the number 2 role running back on a team, he'll get some opportunity. And who knows what happens if the starter gets hurt. So
Yep.
for me, I liked him, his athleticism, etc. It also gives him some time to help learn how to hold the ball when he runs. So we're not as worried about the fumbles. And with Kubiak coming in, he's always liked multiple back situations. I'm not a believer in that, but I do think Washington is the number 2 as soon as he shows up.
Yeah, like I think worst case it's a 60-40. I think it's more of like a 75-25 split, maybe even just an 20-80 split. But they did come out and say that they want to do a two back system. We just saw this two back system with K9 and and Sharps. Obviously, Genty is a there's a bigger gap between the skill set of Genty and Mike there, but I think that's a great pick. He was the one that I was gonna take, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take Delp, so I know that I get him. And I did not expect you to take another day three back already in the second round, but you're getting them all, so I
Yep.
will let
So
you
far,
have them.
that's all I'm getting.
All right. This is a little tough. I think I'm gonna go Ted Hurst. Uh, I I like the player. I don't think Godwin is going to be there too much longer. I think Hurst, yes, that room is currently a bit crowded, but I think once Godwin is out of the way, Hurst will be a full time player. He might even be a full time player now. Come in and be the three. You have either Godwin or Egbuka in the slot with Hurst outside. He's that bigger frame guy that's going to work on the outside, kind of tried to fill that Mike Evans role. They don't really have anyone currently on the roster that can do something like that, and he's the biggest one that can. So I'm gonna go Ted Hurst.
Where? So looking at that situation, we know they like to throw the ball. Baker had a down year. I'm assuming it gets better. But I mean, do you think Hurst has a chance to even be the wide receiver 4? And I
Yes,
love Hurst coming into the
absolutely.
draft. You do.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he has a chance to be the wide receiver 3 right away?
Yes, yes. I think the most likely outcome to start the season, he's probably it's it's very close between the 3 and 4. You have Egbuka, Godwin, and then McMillan, who I think is going into his last year, or this is his third year.
Yeah, this is
Um,
his 3rd year.
yeah, and then Hurst. I think those are the top four right off the bat. Whether you want to put Hurst at 3 or 4, I'm not going to fight you, but I
You're not
think
putting
someone.
you're not putting Tez Johnson in his way?
No, no, I
You're
don't
not
care
putting
about
K
Tez.
Dotton in his way?
No, I don't care about K Dot.
Okay.
I mean,
That's fine.
he's gonna be on the field because he's the starting tight end. But as far as the wide receiver room, Hurst is either the 3 or 4.
Which is fine and fair. I get it. Um, all right. So for my next pick, oof. Um,
Round 3 and 4 are gonna be juicy.
Yeah, it's getting uglier, especially because you and I have similar thoughts on some of these guys. So, um, you know what? You took your tight end. I'm going to take mine. I think it's
Oh
Jolie.
shit!
Uh,
Already?
I'm taking Jolie. I think he has the
All right.
opportunity to be
Does
the
he
third option on that team, um, right away.
really?
And
Really?
so as Sutton gets older and then we see where it is, Sean Payton knows how to use a tight end. Maybe he turns Jolie into that Joker role that he always talks about. I'm jumping in. I like the opportunity. I like the slot. And I mean, we talked at 203. It was go get your guy. And with a full point tight end premium, there's never more of a chance to say go get your guy.
Don't they still have Ingram and they have another tight end? So Jolie's probably going to start the year as the third string tight end.
I'm going to bet that Adam Troutman is dead on arrival this year, and that Ingram, they already know what they have, and Sean Payton's seen him enough to know that he's not worth anything.
Okay. Um, well, I did not see that coming. I was expecting somewhere in the third, but we're close enough, and it's go get your guy. I'm gonna go ahead and take the guy. I think he's fallen far enough. I think he's gonna have decent opportunity in his offense to compete for wide receiver two, especially now that Jawan Jennings is talking to the Vikings. I'm gonna go with Stribling. Yes, it's not someone that we had very high, but he was drafted. Um, he was drafted pretty highly, and that tells me that he's going to be somewhat involved. And what can he do with that opportunity? That's where we are we're right now in the third round. I'm going to go with him. I don't think he overtakes Pearsall, but he could probably be the two for that team. Who else do they have?
Where was he in the overall like rankings? How far did you have to scroll down?
Not
He's
very far because people have taken him just because he's
earlier
drafted pretty highly.
at that 201. Okay, gotcha. I didn't see him right away. Maybe I didn't scroll far enough, but I get it. It makes sense. I mean, neither of us were fans. They took him at the 201. They have a plan. Mike Evans, I still think is the one. The two, I still think is let's give it to Pearsall if he could ever stay healthy, and then you got tight ends. But Stribling could come in and chill out. Supposedly they liked
Do
his block.
something.
Supposedly they liked his blocking, so good for him. I'm gonna go next back to the receiver well with the guy I just always liked, and I know he was the second guy
Mm,
taken on his team. I'm taking Elijah Sarai. Um,
okay.
I mean, there's 50-50 shot that he is a better NFL player than Omar Cooper.
Yep.
Um, I will say that, and we took Cooper where he was because he's a first rounder, and Surratt was a fourth, I believe. So, but I liked him as a prospect. Seemed like he was a footballer, as in willing to block, willing to do the little things. And as we saw, Mendoza liked him. So I'm going to take him here.
All right. Oh. Skylar Bell's been going pretty high in drafts. I've seen him go late second, start of the third, and I agree with that evaluation. And I think the Bills think he should be the first overall pick because they're saying that he's the next Jamar Chase. So I'm gonna ride that.
Okay, so you're taking Bell? Gotcha.
Yeah, Bell. He's probably starting off third, fourth wide receiver for that team. You have Shakir, DJ Moore. Then I think it's pretty open for Bell to come in and be the three.
Yeah. Um, okay. I'm not as excited. I just feel he's just a guy. Even I said that as a prospect. I'm going to jump back into the tight end well because it is 1 point tight
Damn.
end premium. I'm taking Raridon, the tight end. These three, Delp, Jolie, and Raridon, I feel should be going earlier. And the more the tight end premium, the more I'm going to take them. You know, there's a 50-50 chance he is the third option in New England by later this year or next year. As a prospect, I thought he was okay, but you know, he was in Notre Dame, so he at least knows the system, can block a little bit, and we'll go from there.
Oh, now you're making me nervous to not take another tight end, but the next one I want to take is a seventh round pick. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and take a back. I'm gonna take my first back. Um, no, I took Price, but
You took Love and Price,
oh, that's right, I guess. Yeah, I got the two best ones, and you've taken all the fifth round
right?
picks. Um, I I had Johnson as my RB3 pre-draft, and the fact that he's behind uh, K9, I think there's definitely an opportunity for him to see significant time, and he's going to be on the field already. I don't think it's going to be all K9. I think Emmett Johnson is going to see work this year, and if anything happens to K9, I think he's instantly someone that people are going to want for fantasy. How far down is he? Oh, he's at the very
He's at the
top.
top.
Sweet value steal. Got it.
There you go. Um, I'm gonna take a guy that I have 0 shares of, but mid-3rd as the second possible option in Atlanta. I'll take Zachariah Branch. In a lot of rookie drafts, I will tell you right now, I've seen him go anywhere from 111 to
Oh
205,
my goodness.
206. That's not where I'm at. I just am not the biggest fan of him. Has trouble catching, is a kind of screen merchant, maybe can return some kicks, etc. But I think this late, when you go get your guy season, seeing him as a second, as the possible second option in Atlanta is good enough for me. Whether I'm excited or not, I'm taking him here.
Okay, yeah, I have 0 shares of him just because I don't agree with where he's going, and I don't think he's gonna be all that important for fantasy. He's not the type of player that does well for fantasy. He's more of a gadget type player, which he's gonna have his role and he's gonna be on the field. I just don't think it's ever really gonna amount to anything. It's really a lot like, who was that other, I thought we talked about someone that was just a deep threat. Oh, yeah, Thompson.
Thompson. Yeah.
He's all yeah, he's a lot like Thompson to me, but, hmm, it's funny that we've taken so many 4th and 5th and 6th round backs, and there's a 3rd round back just still sitting there that's probably the backup to CMC. Uh, but I still will not take him. I'll still go with a wide receiver. Which one? There's still some 3rd round guys left. Hmm. I'm just gonna go with the other wide receiver that was drafted to Baltimore, Jacoby Lane. He's probably still going to be probably the 4th wide receiver on that offense, but how long do they keep Bateman? And then you're looking at, is it Lane or is it Surratt? It's just, who do they want to play the outside? And I think Lane is going to be someone that's going to be playing the outside for them a lot. Everyone else they have is a slot guy outside of Bateman. So he's going to find his way onto the field.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I was probably gonna go Lane there, even though I have 0 shares again. I just feel like it works out well. Look at this next group of guys. It's still get your guy season. I'm gonna turn into the owner of the Baltimore Ravens and jump down a little bit and take Adam Randall because that's who he wanted. He's a big back. To me, what I like about him is I liked his opportunity. He just moved to running back. I don't, everyone's probably heard by now that the story is the owner got to use this pick because they had a bunch, and this is the guy he wanted, which means don't piss off the owner. He's a bigger back. Could he feel like Henry? No, but can he learn? Hopefully. He's athletic, can catch the ball. Just is very new to the position. He's 233 pounds, but to me, he could very easily be the running back 2 by midseason behind
Yeah.
Henry. And I'm just purely looking at opportunity. I did it with Washington. I'm going to do it here. You did it with Emmett Johnson. I'm not sure about that on Emmett Johnson, but with Randall, I think there's a very good chance that he could be that role and that player.
All right. I guess I will stay in line with that opportunity. I'm gonna go Black just because he's probably the RB2. Unless you can think of another name on that team that you would put over him. He's going to be the backup to CMC or at least the third back. And we know that they tend to cycle through someone that was taken in the third round. It seems like they take one every year that does absolutely nothing. But
Yep.
at this point, we're taking, 6 round backs. So I will take Keelan Black.
Yeah. I If you ask me, I think he's the third. I truly think Jordan James is the backup. I think that's who they've liked. Keelan
Oof.
Black will be third, and I think they're probably cutting Garendo as much as they liked him 2 years ago. So that's where I'm at. I think they like Black. He was a winner, but for me, it's meh. I mean, you could see neither of us really love him. We took him at 309, where in most of the drafts
Yeah.
he's going somewhere in the second round. That's just kind of how it is. Of the guys I'm looking at next, all these quarterbacks I see go usually earlier. I'm not taking them. I truly think Arizona is going to be a bad team, which means they take a early first round quarterback next year, which means you're burning a pick, even if you feel like you might be able to use Carson Beck this year. Nussmeier, as much as people might like him, he's not starting over Mahomes, and it'll take a couple years for him to even get traded, or if he gets off a practice squad. Drew Allen might have a chance, but I didn't think he was that good. If Pittsburgh struggles a lot or needs QB, I still think they're trading up next year to get a first round quarterback. Klubnik, same case. I think if the Jets are where we think they are and they're drafting in the top four, they take a quarterback. So all these QBs that I'm seeing go in rookie drafts early, probably earlier than we even are, I'm just avoiding. I'm not taking them. It's not worth it. I think it's a roster clogger spots. It's not someone I'm looking for. Max Clare, who is also high on this list, as you could see, he's a second round tight end. I'm not taking him. To me, he's the fifth tight end now on that team. I have no idea what they're thinking or doing. Sean McVay or the ownership and GM are just kind of shooting from the hip. They took a quarterback early. I don't know how this helps them. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I've seen him go earlier too before Delp and Jolie and Raridon. I just don't see the opportunity. I mean, we saw Colby Parkinson do well. They re-signed Higbee. I mean, they took Ferguson last year. Could he pass Ferguson? Sure. But we also know right now and probably in the future, they're going to get another number two receiver. So whenever Devontae Adams moves on. So I'm moving into the next kind of tier and area of players that I like. And if I keep going down the
Just
list,
keep scrolling.
keep scrolling. I'm going to take one of the guys in full tight end premium that I like. Again, I'm taking Jack Endries.
Okay.
I just think when you're playing with a stud quarterback that likes to throw the ball in a high passing offense, you might as well take as many of those chances as you get, especially in point tight end premium. So I'll take
Yeah.
Endries.
Yeah, and just speak on those QBs a bit. Like I've been taking Cade Klubnik in like the fourth round because I've been seeing him fall to the fourth, and at that point, there's not a whole lot left. I'm taking Green. I'm taking him in the fourth round because literally there's nobody left. And if you get any starts out of them for fantasy and they do anything, then they immediately rise in value, and you can maybe trade them for a bit more and recoup some value. But I'm with you. I don't think I'm going to go QB just yet. Um, there's a guy that I've been taking quite a bit. I have so many shares, and it's Caleb Douglas, the wide receiver for the Dolphins, who got taken in the third round, pick 11. He's probably going to be one of the starting wide receivers. And That's more than what you can say for most people at this point. Um, when the drafts first started, he was way down there. I'm talking towards the bottom. So I would just scroll all the way down the back of the third or into the fourth and just take Douglas because no one knew that he was there. So I'm 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 taking Douglas.
Yeah, no, we liked Chris Bell at the 201. We still think Douglas. They took him before Bell. I like the opportunity, especially here. It's get our guy season. I think he's got as good a chance as anybody else.
Yeah, and he's
Um,
6'4" and ran a 4.39. So He's
Yeah.
got the tools. Just how involved is he going to be, and what can he do with that involvement? And we just had a pick go through in Dad's 28 at the 202. Deshaun Stribling at the 202. I've seen him go as high as the first round.
Wow. Yeah, I just can't. So I'm gonna jump to the next player that if this is how the board is, I'm gonna take just purely because he might have an opportunity, and that's Damon Claiborne.
Okay.
When we discussed
Oof.
him, I wasn't the biggest fan. I thought he was,
You can have him.
how do you put it, a little light in the ass to actually ever be an NFL running back. He could just be a returner, but when you take him on a team that needs a running back, maybe he gets some opportunity. He's behind a 31-year-old running back and Jordan Mason. And so he might get some opportunity, he might get some look. I thought they were going to take a running back earlier, but they didn't. So let's take Claiborne at the 312 just because he might get some opportunity and usable time.
And I will take the last back that we probably draft. And I know you said that you've been drafting a lot of them. Seth McGowan to the Colts. I think he could maybe find his way to being the backup to JT. And I did a lot like his tape. So I think he can find a role in that offense, maybe as the two or three. And then if anything happens in front of him, I think he's someone that could come in and play well.
Well, that sucks because that was the guy I was hoping I could just wait and wait and
Yeah,
wait.
why the fuck would you take Claiborne?
Because I
But go
thought you were
ahead.
going to let him go. I thought you were going to take Klubnik or another one of your
No.
players. So, a little disappointed there. But anyway, um, okay, those are further
There,
down.
there's
So I
another
am
guy
up.
out there that I'm surprised that you haven't taken yet.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't even know what you're talking about, but maybe you do. I just see
If
some of
you
these
don't
guys
take
keep
him,
going
then I'll take
later
him.
and later. And if you take one of my guys later anyway, here's the thing. If we're doing this draft, you and I, we might not take another quarterback till the 411, 412 pick. And that's just not what I'm seeing. So I'm going to take one of these guys. Let's take Beck because he was very early third round pick, like very early. So I think now is the time to probably jump in if you feel you need a QB later in the year when the team sucks that they might throw in. Fine. I will say I have 0 shares, and if it's my draft, I'm avoiding them, but I just keep seeing these guys go earlier. So if you need a QB and it's the 4th round, or you want a QB, or you like some of these QBs, take your shot. You know, I'm not going to tell you otherwise because who knows? Could he show out at the end of the year and look awesome? And now they decide not to take a QB and he wins a couple games. Sure, it's not really what I think is going to happen, but you might as well take him.
And I'm going to take the guy I'm surprised that you haven't taken yet, and that is Bryce Lance. I think he could possibly be the wide receiver 3. I don't think he's going to be the 3 over Vele, but he could easily be the 4. And then if anything happens to their top 2 guys that are very injury prone, then he's on the field.
I love it. I was hoping he'd be one of the ones I was hoping to fall a little bit. Clearly, he did not.
It's fucking me and you, man. So
Dude, straight up, yeah. Um, Jesus. Who are these little POSs do I want? Give me Max Clare, 2nd round tight end, even though I don't believe in it. It's just, I think the time to take him, he usually goes earlier. So in real drafts, I can at least make it look like, you know, I need to make it look like we're not the Rams and the 49ers GMs knowing better than everyone else, even though
no,
I feel we know better than everyone else.
I'm just drafting how I would draft, and a lot of these guys, like, they're just off my board. I don't care. Um,
Are you not
so
taking Claire
which is,
anywhere?
I mean, if he's in the 4th round and there's no QB available, then sure. But well, like you said, he's a tight end 4 or 5 on his own team. When is he gonna play?
You better jump some
So,
guys in some injury, right?
all right, I'll go QB. I'm going to take Drew Aller. I really do think that there's a possibility that he is a starting QB this year. It's not a high chance, but it's between him and Will Howard if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back. So the fact that there's a starting QB available, then just basically there's a shot that he's a starter more over. I mean, Beck maybe if uh what's his name, Jacoby Brissett, maybe he holds out for a contract, and then Beck is now going to start this year. Cool, but Beck's not there anymore, and I think Drew Aller is the next man up that I think that could potentially start this year, or just start some games. Even if it is Will Howard to start the season, they could at some point pivot over to Drew Aller, who was someone that people really thought a lot of before this past season.
Yeah. No, I get it. Makes sense. I mean, some of these quarterbacks, if we did a preseason, would be in the top 8. So
Yep,
I get it,
which
right?
is wild.
Who do I? There are a couple. I want Eli Heidenreich, the Pittsburgh running back, the white kid out of Navy.
Okay,
Um,
I like it.
some of these were go get your guy picks. Some of these were I just feel like we should already take them. This is a go get my guy slash who knows? He's either the third or fourth running back if Caleb Johnson gets his act together or not right away. But you never know if he shows up, hard worker as he's always been, coming out of Navy, seems smart. Is he able to actually, take the reins and not just be a practice squad guy? Can he take over a role? Can he push Caleb Johnson to get cut? That's where I'm at. And I'll take the shot right here because a lot of his measurables and information and stuff are like CMC light or very close. So who knows? Could he work out great? Probably not. But in 4-on-6, I'm taking the shots for the moon. I'm not trying to take a safe pick that will catch 45 balls and 600 yards.
Yeah, at best right now he's the all RB4 on that team, but I could easily see him jumping, to the all RB3, which would be wild.
Yeah.
But also after this year, he could jump to be in the 2 or 3. So, um, I'm gonna go with another QB. I think this is a good spot to start taking them. I'm gonna go Klubnik because I do think he's probably the third least one that has a chance to start some games this year. If Gino just looks fucking awful, I think there is a world that Cade does play some. And I hope that he does play some just to see what you have. I mean, you spent a 4th round pick on him. So
Yeah. Um, trying to see if other tight ends actually get me excited. I already took the ones I really like.
there's one left that went undrafted who will probably get drafted in this one.
Okay. Um,
I'm surprised you don't know who it is.
I guess I don't offhand. I think I've heard people talk about it. Sam Roush is another guy I talked about liking him earlier, but meh. Um, like Marlon Klein got taken in the second round. Like, what are we doing? Who knows?
To
Um,
block, just like the Jags tight end that they took in the second
yeah,
on block.
Jesus.
Just like the Dolphins took a tight end to, to block in the third. There was a shit ton of tight ends drafted, but like half of them, they're
Yeah.
not going to mean shit for fantasy at least.
Um, well, I'll let you take the tight ends and dig deeper in that. Maybe I don't know who you're talking about, and maybe I'll learn something here. Unless it is a guy I've heard and I'm just like useless. So let me jump back up top.
It's
See, this is
tough.
where I'm just taking guys that might have an opportunity, whether they're good or not. And that will be which one do I take first?
Thompson,
No, don't care about him.
Wetjen for
Let
the
me take
Steelers.
Jamari Taylor.
Jamari Taylor. Okay.
And the reason is he's with Jacksonville. People are hyping up Tootin. Who knows if this guy's better or not? I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. But he at least has an opportunity inside of the team and maybe he makes the team.
I'm gonna go just because I'm a sucker for a scrambling QB with hope and prayer. I'm gonna go Taylor Green. I think he deserves to be drafted.
I think that's fair. I'm gonna go Jam Miller next, purely because on the opposite spectrum, maybe he deserves to be drafted, maybe not, but he's now could be, should be the third running back on New England, and so he might make the team. And that's at 410. That's all I care about in a shitty class.
All right, so this is my last pick, and I feel like I have to take the guy that you didn't
Yeah,
take, and it's Michael Trigg.
the Dallas tight end.
For Yep, he went undrafted. Undrafted, was signed by the Cowboys. I'll take my shot.
That's sure, go for it. I mean, at this point, it's
Maybe
whatever you got.
maybe they move him to wide receiver and he's a slot guy for him or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, who knows?
I liked his ball skills. His blocking is not there, but he can catch the ball.
Yeah.
And you have
Um,
the last pick, who is Mister Irrelevant because he will be irrelevant for fantasy.
yeah, probably so. How long do I want to take on this? Not long, because if there's a guy you like, just go
Uh,
get him. Um, you know what?
I
I'm in
mean,
Louisiana. Garrett Nussmeyer. Let's
Garrett.
take
I, I was about to say, man, just take the backup to Mahomes.
Mahomes. Might as well. Who
I
knows how
mean,
it's not the
not to Mahomes because Fields is there, but
yeah, the field
these,
starter, right. That's fair.
yeah. All right,
But I mean, just in general, as you could see, it's kind of from 203, there's like a few guys in a tier that you should probably take going from Brazil to Singleton to Williams to Allen, Fields, Bernard. And then from then on, it's get your guy. Who do you like? Who do you want to root for? Did he go to your college? Did you play against him in high school? You know, whatever the hell it is. Get the guys that you want that you think can develop. As you could see, um, Gus and I think very similarly because we kept taking the same players. I at that range, I'm purely looking for opportunity.
yep.
You know, and that's what we both went to. That's why I kept asking you questions, Gus, and you asked me, do you think he has a chance to be the Hurst? Do you think he has a chance to be the wide receiver 3? And you said yes. Raridon for me. You know, it's really early, but I think he has a chance when Henry moves on, he could be the starting tight end. You know, some of these guys, it's all about opportunity.
Let me
So,
see if there's any names I want to talk about. Kevin Coleman. He did go to the Dolphins in the fourth round. Wait,
right.
was it the fourth? No,
The,
he was a fifth. He was in the fifth, so he's gonna compete to maybe try and be on the field. We didn't take Thompson, who we talked about before.
Ro-
Moss.
Roman Hemby is a name I would definitely bring up because he was on the national championship Indiana team. He was very good at Maryland beforehand. And if you're in Devy leagues, a lot of people took him or had or should have taken him beforehand. So he's there. He seems like he will be the third string in Las Vegas. So maybe he's another guy we should have taken. But he has some
Sam
pedigree. Most people
Roush.
like him. Sam Roush is another
Yes.
guy.
Yeah, like if we went a fifth round, I feel like it would get very, very tight. And it's just who's left that
Might have a
is
chance.
gonna be on a team. Sam Roush went in the third round at the top of the third to the Bears. Likely in the next year or two, he's going to be the tight end too. There's another tight end on that team that I've been told that is there. I just don't know who it is.
I
I
mean,
know you
you
have
know what?
Colston.
He might not even exist. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
Gus, at some point, I'm just gonna send you a trade where you're gonna see nothing for nothing, and just see if you take it and be like, okay, which of course is Cole Kmet for nothing coming back and see what happens.
yeah.
But
Uh,
but no,
uh,
Hemby has a little interest because I think he can make the team. Really, when you get down here with how the draft was, is who do you think makes the team? You know, they're talking about Brendan Thompson making the team. In best ball, he might be fine, but they're talking about him having a good chance of making the team.
there was another receiver that went to the Cardinals. Virgil. He's probably at best third receiver, probably fourth or fifth on the team, but he did get drafted in the fifth round to the Cardinals. There was another receiver that was drafted to the Bengals, Colby Young. Uh, Wetjen to the Steelers, mainly as a kick
Returner.
returner. Um,
CJ Daniels, the Rams, he's a guy to at least keep on your radar, in my opinion. Who's the other one? Josh Cameron, I believe, is the receiver that went to Jacksonville that some people liked going into the entire thing. Yeah, he's 6'1", 224. So he's a bigger guy. He got selected in the sixth round to the Jaguars. So maybe he's a guy, if they truly play Hunter as full cornerback, that could turn into something.
Jaden Ott, that went to the
Yeah.
Chiefs as an not unrestricted free agent, but an undrafted rookie. We've
Yeah.
seen what they did with Isaiah Pacheco. Not saying that Ott is Pacheco, but that backfield is pretty thin. There was a QB that went to the Eagles. What was his name?
To the Eagles?
Yeah,
That
he's a
was
fun player.
was that Pavia? No.
No.
He's another name.
I'm scrolling, trying to find it. It wasn't King. Oh, don't tell me I passed him already.
My head.
He's basically like a Tim Tebow type player.
Wait, Peyton.
Don't
Cole
tell.
Peyton.
Peyton.
North,
Yeah,
North Dakota.
Cole
Yeah.
Peyton.
There
Yep,
you go.
Cole Peyton drafted by the Eagles in the fifth round. Maybe they want to take some work away from Hurts on those tush push plays. Maybe put in Cole Payton, or maybe have a player two per game for Cole Payton. I don't think he's going to be the backup. It's going to be Tanner McKee, but Cole Payton will be on that team.
Yeah. I mean, you go into the list. Here's a name I don't know anything about. I don't know if you do. All I know is the backup tight end to the Chiefs, John Michael Gillenborg, who was they re-signed. He ran a 4.6 at the combine, was invited. He's 6'5", 249 or 251, whatever, out of Wyoming. Who knows? But, the Chiefs always love their tight ends, and he could come out of nowhere and be somebody. I'm not saying that, but, these are the guys in the fifth round that I'd be throwing darts at just because who cares?
How many people on this board do you think is on a fantasy roster in 3 years? Because that's typically when you have to start to cut guys from your taxi that haven't done dick yet.
Ooh. I mean, you ask me quickly, you're always like, oh, that many, but only like 18 of these guys, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking 18 to 24,
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 18
which I think is
because
fair, and
yeah,
it could be lower. So
oh yeah, one of the Cleveland guys might not be there. Omar Cooper could flame out and they find someone else. Stowers could never hit. And these are first round guys. Price could be overrated, which some of us in the community think he is. Coleman could flame out. Bell could just stay injured. Brazil is the Tennessee guy that doesn't hit again. Singleton can't find a hole and has no vision. I could say everything why it doesn't work on a lot of these
yeah,
guys. So let's say 18 would be, which is low for most classes, but that would be my side. Everyone as quarterbacks in the fourth round could be gone.
probably.
Yeah.
But all right. Anything else on this class?
Get your guy when you want to. The only other
Yeah,
thing I would say to everyone is trade out if you can. And people, the dumbest thing is people are like, hey, I have the 109, give me a 27 first. No one's doing that.
go
Don't
fuck
even
yourself.
try. It's
Yeah.
it's it's almost insulting. If you can get a 27 second and a late second pick, that's probably worth it if you want to get out. but you're not going to get a first, especially this late. Everyone in Dynasty knows. Um, kind of going into the second round. If you have a late second round pick and you want to get out, don't be asking for a 27 second. You need to be asking for 27 third. So don't insult players that kind of know what's going on and how much better the 27 class is supposed to be. You just get an instant reject and have fun with it. Take your guys. As you could tell, Gus and I both like these tight ends, especially those top three, Delp, Jolie, and Rarigan. I would say take them more than some of these other guys when you get the chance.
Yeah. I hope now that you get a bunch of trade offers to send away your 27 first for a back end first round pick this year.
Oh God.
Do it, guys. Do
I
it.
can
Do it.
see
Do
you doing it in 1,000 leagues. I can see Miles and Vincent
it.
and all the people that we know listen just being like, here you go. And I hate all of you.
All right. All right. Well, how about some dad advice before we get out of here? I believe it's my turn.
Yep.
I don't think we've talked about it, but my son has started doing karate. He's 4 years old. He's been to, I'm gonna say, about 4 classes now, and we really thought that it would be good for him because he's got these giant foam blocks that he's got in the front room here that he likes to kick and punch and throw whenever. His favorite movie right now with his sister that they love to watch all the time is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Okay.
It's because they're fighting demons and shit like that. And so like whenever a fight scene comes on, they just get out and start kicking and punching those. So it's like, all right, well, he's got all this energy. He wants to punch and throw. So like, how about we get it into some structured format? And he loves it. He loves going. He loves talking to the instructors. He loves doing the drills. And kind of what I'm getting at is, if you see something that your kid enjoys doing, push them towards that. Don't hold them back. Try to be as supportive as you can for things that you see that they want to do, as long as it's safe. Like I'm not saying put your 4-year-old on a dirt bike and tell them to
Right.
have at it, but just find something. Like if they show interest in something at a young age, I think it's always a good idea to get them in some sort of sport, some sort of contact sport, really for young boys. But for girls, if they want to get into some sports, I've seen some girls in some contact sports that are great. I've seen
Yeah.
seen some clips, but just if they show interest in some sort of sport or activity and you're able to push them towards it, then take that shot.
No, I love it. I think that's great. Um, yeah, I think it definitely has a good opportunity, good chance. I've been pushing mine. Mine's been doing music, but also t-ball and soccer. Getting them sweaty, getting them running, getting them outside. There's too many kids stuck on a computer or phone or tablet or whatever. So I always encourage it and want them to get out.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I hope the rest of your drafts go exactly how you want them to, and I hope you get some trade offers here pretty soon for some 2027 picks that you send away. But all right. There's going to be a lot of talk about this class going forward. Hopefully in a positive direction. I'm really excited about a few of these guys that went late, like Delp. Like I knew that I had to take Delp early, with you in this draft, and I've been getting them in the third round and
Yeah.
mostly. So I'm not saying that you have to take Delp in the second, but if you see that I'm in a draft with you and I pick before you in the third, then you better take him in the second because he's not going to make it to you. Um, but basically after the first round, it's call your shot. Pretty
Yeah.
much start of the second through the fourth. It's go get your guys. Don't worry about the ADP because it's all fucked up and it's going to be fucked up for probably another month or two. So
Yep.
even then, still just go get your guys with opportunity and draft capital. The biggest thing about this second to fourth round is find guys that are gonna at least have a shot to be on the field and show what they can do early. Because if you don't do anything your first year, it's very hard to have any value going into year two unless your name is Simpson. So,
Yep.
all right, Colin, I think we're
Sounds
about done
great.
here.
Good
All right, man.
good talk. Good draft.
All right. Hell yeah.